Solutions Review is on location at Commvault GO in Nashville, Tennessee. Brought to you by Commvault.
We are here at Commvault GO 2018. It's a customer conference and we are talking to another customer. We've been lucky enough to get some time with Ryan Sinnwell, who is the Senior Infrastructure Manager at the Weitz Company.
Yep.
And that is a construction company. And this is a really interesting story to us because I don't know how to say this, but I think you know where I'm going. I don't think the construction industry is always considered the most cutting edge with regard to data, and yet your story is really kind of interesting, and you're actually one of the highlighted speakers around here because of it.
Yeah. So I'd say overall the construction industry is kind of a laggard on technology. We're generally following everybody else and trying to catch up, and Weitz has always tried to be a close follower. We're not too leading edge or bleeding edge on anything, except when it gets to the virtual design and construction, but that's a very construction-focused technology. But on our other technologies, we definitely kind of closely follow what everybody else is doing.
But with regard to data, it's interesting in that you guys have really, you've been there quite a while, 17 years,
Yep.
Thereabouts. You've really seen this progression that a lot of companies have been going through and been closely following it, as you say, but really going through this interesting evolution and going along with it with Commvault.
Yeah, so we started with Commvault back in 2006. We were spread around for all of our backup solutions all over the company and decided we needed to really centralize things. We had people not taking tapes out, not taking them home, all kinds of backup issues that we just didn't trust we could recover from a disaster. And we were using Novell GroupWise at the time, which was just nobody wanted to touch it when it came to backups, and Commvault leaped at the chance. They really have a product that supports anything. I mean, there's nothing I've really found too closely that they've not been able to back up. So that's where we decided to centralize our technology, bring everything back from the offices into a data center, and I've been there along the way to help grow up with the company technology.
Well, and so in that time that you've been there, we've really been going through, and in most recent years, this is what everybody's calling the digital transformation, but it's really moving toward a hybrid cloud approach, and you guys have been right there with it.
Yeah, so I would kind of refer to Weitz as a cloud-leaning company, but maybe not cloud-first necessarily yet. We're always looking at, when we're looking for a new solution or to improve something we already have, we look at all the cloud solutions first and kind of give priority there, but we aren't necessarily always choosing the cloud solution. We're doing document management in the cloud, Office 365, Salesforce is a big one for us. And so we're really kind of keeping an eye on what the cloud can do for us to give us more time back in our day to not have to manage the day-to-day of an application.
Well, and so those solutions that you just mentioned are really the classic software as a service solutions that have been kind of the leaders in terms of moving toward the cloud. I'm curious, as you've been evolving, where do you see yourselves headed in terms of progressing with solutions?
That's a great question.
Well, I can ask a different one, actually.
Yeah.
So with regard to, because I think what I'm really trying to get to with regard to Salesforce is you guys have been really looking for a solution that can kind of take Salesforce to the next level in
Right.
terms of backup
Yep.
and you've been doing that with Commvault.
Yeah, so we're heavily invested in Salesforce. We've got our intranet is actually running on their Salesforce community site, which is something that not a lot of companies are doing these days, but we were kind of leading edge there. But one thing we started doing is realizing we had a challenge back in 2014 or so, where we had GroupWise attached to our Salesforce instance. A mistake was made and a whole bunch of data got deleted. Some appointments got deleted. Our customers got responses saying we had deleted birthdays out of the system and a bunch of other things. And it was just a lot of egg on our face. It made us realize how important that data is. So we decided when we moved Office 365, before we let users have access through Outlook again, we were going to go ahead and make sure we had that data protected, because it wouldn't prevent somebody from doing something dumb again, but we could at least recover from it. We started looking into Salesforce's recovery options, and they're sure covering their own behinds when it comes to having our data in the cloud. But if we do something dumb with our data, it's going to be extremely expensive to get their help to restore it.
Well, it's interesting because we're a longtime Salesforce.com user as well, and it never really occurred to me, other than kind of relying on Salesforce as the backup solution, that may not necessarily be as complete as other options.
Yeah, and we find that with other SaaS providers as well. They're protecting themselves and making sure if a data center goes down, they can do it. But if you've got a user that messes up a couple of records, they're not really in that business to help you pull those records back. So they do recommend third-party backup solutions. We started looking into those, and almost all of them are licensed by the user, which when you have every user in your company using Salesforce because of the intranet, that becomes extremely expensive very quickly. So that's where Commvault stepped in for us and basically said, you can use your capacity licensing and just back up based on the capacity you use in Salesforce. And so not paying by the user, they saved us a significant amount of money. We were early on and did a beta with them after the very first Commvault GO. We got paired up with the product management team and did some beta testing for them and helped them realize some things they hadn't seen yet because nobody was using the community's product. Got those issues resolved, and they found some bad data in our CRM that we didn't know was there because we weren't doing the right data validation. So they helped us fix the problems and went to production the next quarter, and it worked great. It's been running great ever since.
Well, and so with regard to that process, so you came to the Commvault GO customer conference 2 years ago or last year?
Two years ago. I was just here as a customer hanging out, looking at everything.
And you entered into a sales cycle. So how long did that kind of go down the path?
It was really fast. We were already a customer at the time, so when it came to wanting to deploy a new solution, Commvault GO was in November. I think we went into beta with the Salesforce product with the team in December, and they had it released in January, and we went live in February. So it was extremely fast.
That's a good example of the things that are happening out here that this type of event really enables.
Right, and that's the best thing about this event. You can get the engineers and the product managers right in front of you that are dealing with the product. They hear your pain and they want to solve the problem. They're problem solvers. They don't want somebody to be looking for another solution or be unhappy with their product. So if there's something they can do, they'll do it. When they see you face to face and they meet you, that's a relationship that goes a lot longer than having a salesperson introduce you on the phone.
That's great. That's great. Well, thanks very much for stopping by. That's actually a really great summation of what we see a lot at these events, which is really customers not realizing what they can get until they actually get a chance to chat with folks, and really there is no substitute for that one-on-one, interaction.
I agree.
Yeah, super.
All right.
Well, thanks very much for coming by.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.